sa EIP. Ato lang dyan. Information and user education. School
mi rende uno strumento della vostra pace.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Dove c'è odio, lascialo seminare l'amore.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love.
Dove ci è ferita, perdono. Dove ci è dubbio, fede. Dove ci è disperazione, sperare. Dove ci è nerezza, illuminarsi. Dove ci è la tristezza, Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console.
To be understood as to understand.
Love as to love, for it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born again.
It is in dying that we are born again.
It is in dying that we are born again to eternal life. Strumento della vostra pace.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Good afternoon po, dear teachers, our dear school heads and master teachers who are joining us this afternoon, and welcome to our first session. Before I introduce to you our session this afternoon, allow me to make a few announcements. Una po, yung ating attendance link is up on our FB group page. So if you haven't accomplished that yet, you can do that after session 1. And of course po, welcome to our new i.LEAD members. Wait lang po, assessment tool muna. Yung ating pong assessment tool is a Word file po already uploaded on our FB group page. To make sure po that you can download it, use a device with a Word application. Some cell phones po cannot download it or nag-error po or wala po kayong nakikita, nagiging blank po siya. To make sure po that you can download it, kindly use a laptop or desktop po, mas maganda, that has a Word application. So, dun nyo po siya mada-download. Save it po and accomplish it as we go from one session to the next session. Ang submission po niyan after session 4 pa po. So, pag nasagutan po natin yung for session 1, this afternoon, save lang po natin siya and then sagutan natin per session. Hindi mo na po isasubmit. Pagka po tapos na natin all sessions, dun lang po tayo magsasubmit. Okay, welcome to our new members of the i.LEAD family. Ma'am Raya Disipulo, Ma'am Rodoria Guilo, our lifetime members, and of course, Ma'am May Flor Dao, and Sir Kelvin Paul Panuncio, our annual members. Thank you very much for joining the i.LEAD family. And for those of you who are still interested to become members of i.LEAD, the membership link is up on our FB group page. So you have po until tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. so that we can send your certificates and IDs together with your certificates for this program. Now, clarification lang po regarding the certificates for this program. Marami po tayo ditong mga participants who are registered by Mati City Division, by Santa Rosa Division, and of course by the Division of Manila. Only those whose names appear in the official list submitted by their respective division offices will be issued certificates po for this program. Yung certificates po nila ipapadala sa kanilang division offices. Doon naman po sa individually registered participants, diretso po sa inyong shipping address, ship yung inyo pong certificates right after po we conclude our 3-day activity. Yun lamang po yung announcement natin for this afternoon. Let me introduce to you our first session. Our first session will be about current issues in educational management at the elementary and secondary levels. Napakaganda po na ito yung mauuna natin because these are the challenges that we face as leaders in our schools. So first po, we'll talk about the issues and challenges, and then for the next sessions, we'll talk about how to address these issues and challenges. Session 1, okay, educators of all levels, whether they be teachers, heads, coordinators of departments or learning areas or supervisors, need to be constantly abreast of current and emerging issues that may affect the teaching and learning processes in their institutions. And part of this session's activities will be a brainstorming and workable problems in the Philippine educational system and the particular context of our dear teacher participants. The objective of this session is to inform and update participants on current and emerging issues in educational leadership and management and how to address this in their own classrooms or institutions or schools. Our expected learning outcomes for this afternoon first is to develop a deeper understanding of current and emerging issues in leadership and management as applied in educational institutions, and to understand and appreciate the applications of these issues separately and as integrated in the management of classrooms and schools. For our assessment, differentiated po yung ating assessment. We have the highly proficient teachers. Ito po yung mga teachers who are joining us today who are not yet school heads, but they are aspiring teacher administrators. So what you're asked to do is to make a compilation of common issues in localized experiences of leadership and management. For the school heads naman po, school heads career stage 1, you're asked about policy implementation proposal to avoid common management problems and issues. For career stage 2 school heads, propose at least one supplemental policy to address common leadership and management issue in various school contexts. So, isa lamang po yung sasagutin natin dyan. So, kung tayo po ay teacher administrators but not yet school heads, we all go to highly proficient teachers. Para naman po sa ating school heads, so for the beginning school heads, you have CS1, and for the more seasoned school heads, you have school heads CS2. So, piliin lang po natin yung ating sasagutin for our assessment. And to help us respond to these assessment tasks and also achieve our learning outcomes for this afternoon, we're very lucky to have with us Dr. Maribel C. Reyes, who holds a doctorate in educational management. She has been in government service as a DepEd employee since 1986. Presently, she is a principal at Santo Rosario National High School in San Juan, La Union, and also a part-time associate professor at St. Louis College, also in San Fernando. In 2019, Dr. Reyes was recognized as the most outstanding school head of La Union Schools Division. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and welcome to our speaker, Dr. Maribel Reyes. Dr. Maribel, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. And at this juncture, I would like to thank i.LEAD for inviting me once again to share this afternoon. And I would like to congratulate also the participants for this learning journey. Okay. Thank you so much, Ma'am Ria, for the invitation.
It's our
Okay.
pleasure, ma'am, to have you.
Thank you so much po. All right. So let me share now my screen, ma'am.
Yes po, go ahead po.
Saan na ako? Nawawala yata ako. Wala. Saglit lang po.
Okay lang po, go ahead po.
Parang nawawala. Hindi ko ma-share.
Would you like me to share the screen for you,
Yes,
ma'am?
ma'am, please.
Sige po, hold on lang po. Ayan po, ma'am, visible na po.
Okay, ma'am. Salamat po. Thank you so much, Ma'am Bea. Okay, once again, good afternoon, everyone. And again, I am congratulating everyone who are here this afternoon that you have joined this learning journey with us at i.LEAD. Okay, so we have here, I was given the task this afternoon to discuss to you the challenges among educational leaders, and later we will try to see how we are going to address them. Next, please, ma'am. Okay, so this afternoon we have 3 session objectives. Number 1, we have to identify, reflect, and analyze the challenges among educational leaders. 2, to discuss insights on how to address the challenges in educational management. And 3, to share best practices on coping with challenges in educational management. Before I'm going to discuss with you all those challenges, let me share to you first an old Buddhist tale entitled Empty Your Cup. Actually, in other references, this is called the cup of tea. Okay, so empty your cup. Let me share it to you. Bruce Lee, the legendary martial artist, once told a story about a highly educated man who went to a Zen teacher to ask and acquire knowledge about Zen. Zen teacher is a Buddhist teacher. As the Zen teacher began to explain things, the man would frequently interrupt with remarks like, "Oh yes, we have that too." Finally, the Zen teacher stopped talking he began to serve tea. He poured tea into the man's cup. He poured tea into the cup until it was full, and then kept pouring until the cup overflowed. Enough, the man once more interrupted. No more can go into the cup. Indeed, I see, answered the Zen teacher. If you do not first empty the cup, how can you taste my cup of tea? So, what are the lessons that we have learned from that old Buddhist tale? Number one, we need to stay humble as we open ourselves to ideas. Number two, we learn if there is a space in our mind for new things. And number three, we learn if you are willing to add new things from the outside. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite everyone to empty your cups and let me pour tea into your cups. Okay, so we have here Deped Order number 24 series of 2020, which says, quality student learning is contingent upon quality teachers who are supported by quality school leaders. Okay, so meaning quality school leaders, or rather quality teachers who are under the supervision of quality school leaders equals quality student learning. So here it says, backwards po. It is the leadership of the school head that makes a difference between mediocrity and excellence. So in other words, through the leadership of the school head, okay, we can see if the school, if it is a mediocre school or an excellent school. Makikita natin yung difference depending on the kind of leadership that the school head has. Okay, so effective school leaders equals effective schools. In other words, if the school leader or if the school principal is an effective one, it will really yield to an effective school. Okay, now we have the facts about school leadership. School leadership impacts all facets of education. We have teacher motivation, shaping the conditions and the environment in which teaching and learning occurs, and interaction with the broader community. So we all know for a fact that in our new OPCRF for the principals, the key result areas that we have there revolve around these facets that we are showing here. First, of course, is the teacher motivation. Okay, so we school heads should know how to motivate well our teachers in order for them to perform well. Okay, we motivate them. And then shaping the conditions and the environment in which teaching and learning occurs. So we provide shape to the learning conditions in the school. That is why, as much as possible, we school heads, together with the teachers, see to it that we make our schools conducive. Okay, conducive so as to make our learners learn better. Okay, that is why before we start the school the school year rather, okay, we have to conduct the Brigada Eskwela, wherein really we make the best preparation for our school in order to make it a very conducive one for all learners to learn better. And of course, lastly, interaction with the broader community Okay, so this is a very important aspect of school leadership, wherein we have to develop a strong partnership with the broader community, the external stakeholders, because this is where we get much support in the implementation of our programs, projects, and activities. Next, ma'am. Effective education leadership makes a difference in improving teaching and learning. Of course, this teaching and learning is really the meat of our leadership as school heads. Okay? This is where our bulk of tasks lie. Kasi dito tayo nagpo-focus sa teaching and learning. Okay? Teaching and learning, the way how teachers handle or teach their subject areas and how the students learn from these teachers. Next, ma'am. Okay. Effective leaders understand and honor 4 basic needs that followers have. And what are these 4 basic needs? We have trust, compassion, stability, and hope. Okay. Let us ask ourselves, we school heads, if our teachers have really trust on us. Nagtitiwala ba yung mga teachers natin sa atin? Are we compassionate? Do we understand their situations? Okay. Stability. Are we firm in our decisions? Do we provide hope for their future? Okay, it says here, people are motivated to work with leaders they can depend on. Oo naman, of course, teachers who are always motivated to work with leaders they can depend on will really perform at their best. Pag motivated na motivated ang mga teachers natin, talagang magtatrabaho yan. No? And who genuinely care about them. So let us therefore show our care to our teachers. We provide a solid and reliable foundation and inspire hope for their future. So we inspire them. We inspire them so that they would do more, work more for the betterment of the school, and in return, they would be given a better future through the promotions that we can offer them. Next, ma'am. Okay, so after discussing those facts that I have just given you, let me discuss to you now the challenges of being a school leader. So of course, school leaders, school principals have really a lot of challenges, a lot of dilemma that we face. Okay? Kahit natutulog tayo, iniisip natin mga problema ng school. Okay? Ang dami nating iniisip. I don't know if you are like me, no? Papunta na ako sa pagtulog, I still think of what are the things to do, what are the things to be solved the following day before going to sleep. Hanggang sa pagtulog, dala-dala natin yung ating mga challenges, no? To the fact that we even dream of those challenges. Di ko alam kung may mga ano dito. I'm sure merong mga principles like that. Okay, so the first challenge is education reform and educational leadership, publicly considered as change agents. Now, change would not likely occur unless superintendents and principals are directly involved, committed to change, and serve as transformative intellectuals. So this was given by Bjork and Ginsberg. Okay, so as leaders, we are change agents. We are change agents. In other words, we are there in our schools to impact change, to create change. Okay? Change for the betterment of our schools in order to provide the best quality of education to our learners. So we principals should then be directly involved. So hands-on po tayo sa lahat ng mga activities sa lahat ng mga programs. And along with it, not only school heads should do that. Of course, if there are head teachers here, you are the arms of your school principals, and so with the master teachers, you are also the arms of your principals, especially pagdating sa instructional supervision, because you join your principals to observe teachers so that you could mentor and teachers to improve teaching and learning. Next, ma'am. All right. Number 2 is political pressures and educational leadership. All right. Nakaka-relate yung mga principals natin dyan, no? There is political pressure, and this is one of the many challenges actually. Okay. Education reform and calls for accountability are increasingly politicizing the work of educational leaders as they have been told to take a larger role in curriculum and instruction, and also to be supportive and humanistic with their students, staff, and parents. So meaning, okay, we should be supportive as we give instructions, as we deliver the goods to our learners. We should also be supportive and humanistic with these students that we handle. We give the best support, we give the best or the maximum tolerance. Okay, I like the term maximum tolerance kasi hindi tayo basta-basta nagpapanis ng mga estudyante natin, di po ba? Okay, and also your best support to your staff. Okay, we should give the best support also to our staff, and of course to the parents of these learners that we have. Next one. All right, number 3 is technology and educational leadership. Incorporating technology for instruction, evaluation, and management requires that school cultures develop a new alertness and flexibility. Some technologies will prove beneficial, other less so. Discerning schools will train for the skills required to be technologically competent in a collaborative way. Okay, so there are teachers actually under our care. I know this is an experience also and an observation of some principals here, wherein challenge talaga yung technology among teachers who are near retirement. No? Near retirement na sila, kaya kung pwede, they do not like to learn or to make use of technology in the delivery of instruction. Ang hirap silang i-motivate. No? Mahirap silang i-motivate. So that is really a challenge, okay, among school heads to really motivate teachers, especially those getting old, near retirement, shall we say near retirement, for them to be able to use technology or incorporate technology in their teaching. Next one. Okay, so the next one, number 4, is societal transformations and educational leadership. Educational leaders need to take an inclusive and collaborative approach in order to work effectively with contemporary families. Okay. I would like to underscore inclusive and collaborative approach. Okay. For us to work effectively with contemporary families. Okay, so inclusive, collaborative, okay? So gagamitin natin lahat ang mga skill natin for us to improve the best strategy for us to motivate all these people under us to work collaboratively with us. Okay, in order to impact transformations in our schools. Number 5 is challenges affecting the Philippine educational system. Formal education has not been achieved what it was supposed to achieve And the gap between the few who are rich and the majority who are poor is becoming wider and bigger. Okay, this is one challenge actually, wherein poverty is the #1 reason for learners to be dropping out from their classes. So yung gap na nag-exist between those who are poor and kasi mas marami yung poor na learners natin sa public, no? So we only have a few of our learners who are belonging to the rich ones or yung mga well-off families, and majority of these belong to the poor families. Parang lumalaki yung gap, lumalaki yung gap, at yun ang dahilan kung bakit students are dropping out. As per experience in our school, I had been a principal for 17 years already, and this is actually one of the reasons rather na nagda-drop yung mga bata natin. Though we say that in public schools we have free education, of course we cannot provide all the needs of these learners. Marami pa rin yung kailangan nila, from the allowances and other needs of the learners that the DepEd could not provide, and that is now the reason why these learners are dropping out. Okay. The functional literacy of the Filipinos is at its minimum, reflecting the sad state of education. Okay, and this is very true. Actually, to share to you our experiences in our school and in the previous school I manage, actually reading is a big problem among our learners. Not only those learners in the grade 7, grade 8, but we also have existing problem of this in the senior high school. They could hardly grammatically correct sentences, and some even get absent kasi in La Union we have actually ito yung pet project ng ating superintendent, no? The superintendent embarks on improving the reading ability of our learners, because this was through our research, this came out na talagang there are many learners who belong to the frustration levels of readers, no? Kaya we are obliged in the different schools of La Union, we are obliged to give reading activities, or a very short reading activity, a 5-minute reading activity before the teachers will conduct their lessons para to address this one, to address this problem, this challenge that we are now experiencing. And aside from that, we are also encouraged to have some innovations, okay, in order for us to help improve the situation under this aspect. Okay. There are rampant problems of child labor, where children who are supposed to be in the classroom are working to help parents. Yes, okay. Especially in areas where children or the students come from families engaged in farming. Okay, so talagang they let their children get absent. For example, June and July, rice planting season, they would come to school and have their children be excused from their classes, okay, so that their children could help them plant rice. And then pagdating naman ng October and November, here they come again, trying to ask for consideration, na children nila will help them harvest. So that is actually the situation that we are facing. So of course, the children will really get absent because of that. And worse is, children will be dropping out because parents would like them to work already in order to augment the income of the family. Okay. Next. Okay, no? Unemployment rate is rising every year as more students graduate from colleges and universities who cannot be accommodated by the labor market. Okay, so kahit graduate ng 4-year course, okay, the graduates, if they seek for employment, they could hardly get unemployment. Okay, because the labor market could not accommodate them. There are no abundant businesses or job opportunities that would accept them to work. And for the country's unemployment rate, just to give you an idea, as reported by the PSA, the country's unemployment rate significantly decreased to 5.2% in July 2022 from 7.2% in the same period last year. So even if we say that the unemployment rate already decreased this year, still, kasi nag-decrease siya ng 2%, still we have a big unemployment rate pa rin. Unemployment rate pa rin, even if students have already graduated. Underemployment is increasing since professionals are forced to accept an employment far from their areas of specialization and training because they need to work and earn for their families. Okay, underemployment. Here comes a nursing graduate employed as a call center agent, at an education graduate employed as an office worker, a clerk in an office, etc. So underemployment. Next, ma'am. All right, so just to give you an example, here is a graduate of a 4-year course maybe and employed at a fast food chain. So an evidence that there is really underemployment, which is a challenge among us. Okay, now we also have the following challenges. The curriculum that is not responsive to the basic needs of the country. Okay, dropout due to poverty. So a while back, I mentioned that poverty, poverty is the #1 reason of dropping out among our learners. Okay, thus increasing their chances of losing the incipient literacy acquired. So when they drop from classes, of course, they could not acquire the literacy that they are supposed to have. And so therefore, forfeit the privilege of developing the necessary skills, values, and attitudes. So when they drop from classes, wala silang natutunan. They could not assimilate yung supposed na skills, values, and attitudes that they are supposed to learn. With the constant change in the basic education curriculum, teachers need to upgrade themselves in order that they can properly implement these changes. All right, so we are aware of that, fellow school heads in the DepEd and the head teachers, master teachers. Ang daming pagbabago at pag nagbago ang mga programs natin, of course, we need to upgrade ourselves by attending trainings, seminar workshops, okay? And even if classes have already started, still they pull out these teachers and even school heads or head teachers from their daily routine, and they will be called for seminars. So tendency is napapabayaan yung mga bata imbes na nandyan yung teacher nagtuturo. All right. Letter B is constant implementation of programs in education which are not properly monitored. Okay, so we have a lot of program in the DepEd. Okay, programs and projects of the DepEd often change with the change of administration. This is very true. Pag ang secretary nagbago, there are changes in the program. Though it's not a total change naman, there are changes. And so kailangan din ng pagbabago sa mga activities ng teachers. Non-evaluation of programs implemented. A lot of programs which are not properly evaluated. Okay, and what's the use of evaluation? Of course, when it is properly evaluated, nakikita natin kung ano ang dapat nating improve and what has to be revised, recasted from those programs that are being implemented. So ito ang kulang. We have a lot of program that we implement in our schools, but there is no proper evaluation of these programs. Letter C is globalization of education and the K-12 program. Now, here we have qualifications of teachers, facilities of the institutions, and instructional materials and strategies must conform with international accreditation requirements. Okay, so I think hindi gaanong problema naman ang qualification of teachers because teachers are well prepared naman in the 4 years education program, and teachers are also given trainings. Okay, teacher induction program, yan yung program natin sa DepEd wherein they induct into office the newly hired teachers from those that have been hired 3 years ago. Yung mga 1 to 3 years are being called for seminars for them to be inducted properly. We call that Teachers Induction Program or TIP. Okay, but I guess problems on facilities of the institutions and instructional materials, ito ang malaking problema natin. Okay, so as per observation, okay, like when we went back to face-to-face classes, this school year, when we opened this school year in August 22, this year, in our school, we got an increased enrollment. Okay, nag-flock yung mga bata. And then, the problem is, there is already a shortage of facilities, especially the classrooms where we will bring these students, and also the instructional materials. Kulang pa rin yung instructional materials. Okay, so when we compare this with other countries, when in terms of facilities, instructional materials, we are far behind countries. So next, please. Okay, now we have a question here. How many of our schools meet these requirements? How many of our schools have very qualified teachers, have sufficient facilities, have sufficient instructional materials? And how many teachers are using strategies or techniques or methodologies that conforms with international standards? Okay. So tayo lang po yung nakakaalam kung nagko-conform po tayo sa schools natin, if we conform to international standards. All right. Tertiary institutions continue to produce graduates who do not have the necessary employability skills, not only in terms of the local norms, but more so with international standards. Ito yung sinasabi natin kanina. And even if our graduates work abroad, they end up working as laborers, domestic helpers, and other blue-collar workers which do not fit their educational credentials. It is because we are far behind other countries in terms of the standards on instructional materials, facilities, and the strategies that are employed by teachers. So pagdating ng mga graduates natin to other countries, actually they are employed in blue-collar jobs, not in offices, not in other work areas or workplaces. Next, ma'am. All right. Ito, what we had been telling a while back, the lack of budget. Although it has been mandated by the Philippine Constitution for the government to allocate the highest proportion of its government to education, the Philippines remains to have one of the lowest budget allocations to education among ASEAN countries. Okay? And do you know how much budget we have this year? Next, please, ma'am. All right, here we have 631.77 billion, or around 12.58% of the total national budget. That is the budget that we have for this year. Pero even if our country or the Philippine Constitution rather mandates that education should get the highest budget, we are still far behind other ASEAN countries pagdating sa budget natin. Kulang pa rin. We still lack budget to implement programs, projects, and activities of our department. So that is the reason why ano yung ginagawa natin, fellow administrators, fellow teachers, what do we do in order to augment the budget that we have? Of course, we go into partnership, we go into solicitations, request letters, etc. All right, number 5 is politics in education. Administrators of institutions solicit financial support from politicians who can sustain their school projects. Okay, agree ako dito. We have a lot of administrators of schools that solicit financial support from the politicians in order for them to implement, okay, or to sustain the projects that they have in their schools. Now, what would be then the consequence if we do this? Okay, next, ma'am. Ano ang consequence pag lagi tayong approaching politicians? Okay, we have here DepEd Order number 49, series of 2022, in number 1 item point B. It says there, desist from soliciting favorable actions from politicians to facilitate the implementation of programs, projects, or activities, except those covered by the Adapt a School program funded by the Special Education Fund from the LGU, or covered by partnership agreements allowed by law. Okay. So it's very clear that in this DepEd order, it states that we should desist, we should refrain from soliciting favorable actions from politicians, no? Except if our projects are covered by the Adapt a School program. For example, the LGU adopted one of our programs and projects that is allowed, which is funded by the SEF. Like, for example, in our school, this year, every year we get a budget from the LGU, from the SEF fund, which supports the improvement of facilities in our school. We receive yearly, we receive in our school with the enrollment of 1,216 enrollment that we have, we are receiving 160,000 from the LGU. Through the Adapt a School program kasi, pinopondohan niya yung aming repair of facilities through the SEF funds. So pwede yon. Pero if we solicit other things other than those covered by ASP or Adapt a School program, this should not be done. It's very clear here. It's stipulated in this DepEd order. Okay. Now, number 6 is we have the issues and concerns on the K-12. Okay. 6.1. First issue under this, we have the length of school cycle education. Lengthening the learning time did not necessarily lead to better performance. This is according to Education for All Global Monitoring Report. Okay, yung pagdagdag ng 2 years did not necessarily lead to better performance. That's according to EFA Global Monitoring Report. Pagdagdag ng 2 years sa basic education did not actually answer or did not lead to better performance. Poor performance, actually, this was from the history kung bakit nagkaroon ng K-12. The reason why we delve into this is yung performance natin, no, is very low compared to other countries. That's why they added 2 years. But now, the EFA brought out a report saying that adding 2 years more did not really yield a better performance among the learners in the basic education. Okay. 6.2, funding constraint and shortage of inputs. Critics of the K-12 program pointed out that as it is, the government has yet to fully fund the existing 10-year basic education cycle. Introducing K-12 into the picture would only magnify the lack of resources and further strain the already insufficient additional or education budget. And this is very true. With the implementation of grade 11 in 2015, we really felt the scarcity of the facilities, the budget that we had, wherein we were encouraged to do some contingency plans on how we will be able to accommodate all these learners coming to enroll for the senior high school. Okay, so finding, hindi na nga napunduhan ng mabuti yung 10-year. Nag-add na naman sila, no? Now, actually, this is not to contradict naman because we also have some they call this benefits that we get from there. Pero we are only for the point of discussion lang naman na there is shortage really of the budget inputs. Now, at least medyo funded na rin yung ating mga senior high schools. Unlike during the start of its implementation in 2015 na talagang kulang na kulang. Okay? Next po. All right, 6.3, additional financial burdens incurred by parents. Right? Additional financial burdens incurred by parents. Adding 2 more years of high school would entail additional burden on the households of the poor, and this could inadvertently increase dropouts and worsen completion rates. So this is very true. No? This is very evident. When we had the survey, I know most of you, if not all of you, really found this as one really finding that came out during the survey that we conducted before the implementation of grade 11, no? Wherein mga parents would say it's an additional burden on their part because they will be it means additional budget for the children, and so kung kulang yung budget, that is now the reason for dropout. Okay, and worsen also. Worse is they will be affecting the completion rates of the school, the performance rating on completion rate of the school. And up to now, we still hear some comments na parents would say, if not because of the added 2 years, sasabihin nila, if not because of the added 2 years, graduate na sana ang anak namin. Mga ganong comments. Okay, next ma'am. And then 6.4, increasing the school leaving age. School leaving age would not be an outright advantage even if students graduate at 18 because businesses is still increasing the preferred college graduates over fresh graduates from the school. Okay. This is actually true. When we trace our graduates of the senior high school, actually, yung mga TVL graduates lang naman ang karamihan rather ang nasa employment na. Okay, TVL. I really found this sa former school namin kasi, former school that I managed sa textbook school, wherein when we trace the learners, 2 years ago, when we trace our learners in the TVL track, okay, most of them are already employed. Employed na sila, no? But for those that went into the academic track, really, even if you are already through with senior high school and you took ABM, of course, when you apply for work, preferred pa rin ni business yung 4-year course. So this would not actually increase the school leaving age actually that DepEd is trying to solve. Okay, 6.5, compliance with the global standards. Critics claim that while it is important to comply with standards, actual experience show that foreign employers look primarily at the competencies and not at the number of years of schooling. Totoo nga naman. When they hire employees, of course, it is not looking into the number of years for that applying for that job will be considered, but it is the skill that is considered. So kailangan we have to march with the global standards. Next, ma'am.
Ma'am Maribel, meron pong mga question yata sa chat box. Basahin ko muna ma'am before we proceed kasi
Yes,
baka
ma'am.
malampasan na natin sila. Kanina po we were talking about yung DepEd order sa solicitation sa mga politicians.
Yes,
May
ma'am.
comment po si Ma'am Noemi Leneng. Sabi
Yes,
niya parang ang exchange yata doon is you have to vote for them. Parang implied. Pero sabi niya ma'am, paano yun pagka daw both parties, halimbawa magkalaban sila sa same post, nag-donate. Ano yung mangyayari pag gano'n?
Oo. As principals, ma'am, and as principals, of course, piliin, when we give way to one, we should not be giving way to the other. Ganyan ba? Sa kanya naman next time, ganun kasi ang ginagawa ko, ma'am, para hindi mag-clash yung parties. Sa akin, mama, ewan ko lang kung what others do in their schools. Tama yun, ma'am, yung parang in exchange for their votes, parang ganon, ini-expect ng mga politicians, when you solicit something from them, they expect that you will vote for them.
Siguro po yung solisita natin, yung talagang gusto na nating iboboto. Parang gano'n.
Yes, ma'am, pwede rin. At saka, ma'am, this is an experience actually I had. Sa former school where I stayed, which I managed, no, I am not from the municipality, and I was so careful that during campaign periods or even before the campaign periods, kahit hindi pa panahon ng pag-file ng candidacy, no, I was so careful na talagang kung ano yung nasa administration, doon ako sumusunod sa flow. Ayaw kong magkasala at ayaw kong makialam sa mga election matters, no? Yung campaign period or yung campaigning for this and that, yung mga ganon. So we should be very careful, fellow school heads, na pagka humingi na tayo sa isa, tama yung sinabi ni Ma'am Ria. Sa isa, wag na tayong humingi sa kabila para hindi magkaroon ng kasi mahirap sa atin nasa DepEd ang ganon, yung na-involve tayo sa mga ganong bagay, ma'am.
May mga suggestion din, ma'am. Instead na solicitation, baka daw pwedeng we change the term. Sabi ni Sir Michael, to be more acceptable, we changed the term from solicitation to donations.
Yes,
Tapos, sabi naman po ni Sir Jason Sagaysa, I changed the word donation to educational investment. So, maganda yung mga terms nila, ma'am.
educational ngayon pa nga lang, Ma'am Ria, katatapos pa lang ng election. There are already yung mga campaigning, or hindi naman campaigning, tama yung in quotation, yung educational, ano yun, sabi ni Ma'am, sabi ni Sir, investment?
Investment, opo.
Investment. Yes.
Sabi rin po ni Ma'am Mary Ann, as school heads po, we may solicit from politicians but we must remain apolitical. Parang neutral. Maganda po
Should
yung
not take
suggestion.
sides.
Opo. Marami pa po silang comments about that kasi siguro medyo controversial yun. Sabi po ni, basahin ko lang po yung iba, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sabi po ni Sir Ronaldo Campbell, yung LSB po, SEF funds are in the hands of politicians kasi kaya yun po, baka kaya nagkakaroon ng ganyang issues. By being apolitical, sabi, dagdag po ni Ma'am Mary Ann, we have to solicit or receive donations from both or all, not only to one. So yun po yung suggestion niya. Kung tatanggap tayo, pwede nating tanggapin lahat.
Kung
And
voluntary silang nagdo-donate, ma'am.
Kung nagdo-donate, opo.
Why
Sir
not?
Abner naman po, ako po educational partnership po. Tapos attached po doon yung approved PPAs po ng SDO.
Yes,
Pwede
ma'am.
daw pong tawagin na partnership.
Yun, yung na-mention natin kanina, those that are supported with the, we call that, agreements or yung under partnership sa Adapt a School program natin. Pwede yun.
Yes po. Sige po, let's proceed na po.
All right. Number 7 po, we have common educational management leadership challenges. Okay, sa management naman natin, sa mga teachers natin. All right, number 1 is administrative affairs. All right, I know all of you have this heavy workload. Jobs change continually as educational needs change. Centralized decision-making, government mandates, okay, curriculum and or priority programs, performance management, accountability to teachers and students. I would like to underscore this one, accountability to teachers and students. Napakalaking responsibility natin or accountability natin rather. Yung mga teachers natin and students natin while they are in school, napakalaking accountability natin ang mga students natin. Limited financial resources. Okay? So yan, nabanggit natin kanina. Balancing budget and practice and style of previous school head. Okay. I think the last one really is, kino-consider din natin yan, no? Yung, for example, you are newly transferred to a school and then magkaiba kayo ng practice and style to that of the previous head. Medyo there will be issues here. Sasabihin ng mga teachers mo, bakit kay ma'am ganito? Pwede yung ganito. Bakit sa inyo ma'am? Hindi pwede. Mga ganon. There is comparison actually, no, on the style and practice between yung previous school head and the present school head. Okay. Next, ma'am. All right. Among teachers naman, okay, teachers teaching subjects other than their specializations. Okay, I think hindi lang ako yung naka-experience po nito. When you give teaching loads to teachers which are not their majors, they would complain, especially the new ones. They would ask you, Ma'am, how could I give my best to teach this subject which is not my major? Ganon. Huh? And then preparing learners to compete with the modern global community, the issue on competitiveness, okay, relocation of teachers, and this is really a problem also, and this disturbs us a lot. Sa akin na lang, this pagdating ng September, a lot of our teachers transfer Some take their leaves of absence because of maternity. Some resign like that. This will really disturb us administrators, no? Because it is not so easy for us to replace those that had been out or that had been on leave. Kasi there is a procedure that we need to follow. I just don't know kung ano yung practice naman in other divisions. For us kasi in our division, if hindi pwede sa amin yung chain promotion na sinasabi po, wherein if a master teacher retires, okay, sabay-sabay yung ranking ng master teacher, and then chain promotion ang tawag kasi magkakasabay mai-submit yung mga papers noon. That was before the coming of the superintendent that we presently have now. So noon, pag nag-ranking kami ng master teacher, isusunod kaagad yung teacher, kung yung nakakuha ng master teacher is teacher 3, ranking kaagad din ng teacher 3. And then kung yung nakakuha ng teacher 3 ay teacher 2, ranking kaagad din ng teacher 2. And then kukuha na sa Registry of Qualified Applicants sa teacher 1. Then sabay-sabay mai-submit yan for processing. Yun yung process na we were used to follow. That was before. But this time with the change of administration, iba na. It will take time really to replace the teachers, the vacancies rather. For example, the master teacher retires. So from the teachers, from the teachers, teacher 3, 2, and 1, those who would like to join the ranking will be ranked. Okay. And then, if for example, teacher 3 got the position of the master teacher, so ipaprocess na yung appointment ni teacher 3. And then, ipapublish muna kung na-approve na yung master teacher 3, ay master teacher 1 na appointment, ipapublish na rin yung publication ng teacher 3 for 10 working days. Ganun naman ang mangyayari sa teacher 2. Kung teacher 2 yung makakakuha sa teacher 3 position, okay, upon the approval of the appointment of the teacher, the qualified teacher, ipopost na naman ng 10 working days yung vacancy ni teacher 2. So kung suma total, ang tagal yung processing ng filling up of the vacancies. And this really affects the order of the school. Bakit? Siyempre, kung dalawang teacher yung nag-retire or nag-leave, so what we do is we distribute the loads of the teachers who went out to the existing teachers that we have. Ganun yun. So, ang mangyayari dyan, magagalit yung mga teachers when they are given extra loads while waiting for the vacancies to be filled in. So, ganun po. So, talagang it's really a challenge on our part. No? Another one is low level of job satisfaction and performance of some teachers. Now, I observed this in the school where I am now because I was just transferred last June 14, no? There is one teacher who filed resignation, parang napaka-low yung job satisfaction niya. I don't know, senior high school teacher, matagal na daw wanting to resign. Pero nung dumating ako, no, though how much encouragement I did, how much motivation I did, is still napaka-low ng kanyang satisfaction sa work niya, kaya nag-resign, no? So yun, low performance of teachers, some teachers, no? Due to some reasons, napakababa ng performance ng mga teachers, okay? Limited time for collaboration and professional learning. This is really true, wherein teachers are actually given 6 teaching loads and 6 hours teaching load, I should say, and 2 hours paper work. No? Now, if there are trainings or some collaborations, saan mo isisingit doon? So, yan ang isang challenge sa atin, school heads, no? It's really difficult to have time for collaboration and professional learning. Okay? Another one is computer literacy. I mentioned earlier that there are some teachers who refuse change and that they do not like to learn to learn how to integrate ICT or to make use of computers in their teaching. Okay? And this one also, family and personal life of teachers. Okay? Minsan, when a teacher comes to you and confess about family or personal life, minsan, we even cry for them. Diba? Na parang, now I know na ganun pala yung teacher. Pero, still, the teacher has to perform her or his task. No? Though we understand them. Inadequate remuneration for the increased responsibility and workload. Okay. Now, I have a sharing on this one. Okay. Remuneration for the increased responsibility and workload. Di ba nag-end po tayo sa DepEd? We ended 2021, 2022. We ended June 24, I guess. And then June 25 onwards, of course, we still required our teachers to report because of the conduct of graduation, checking of forms, and other tasks na gagawin natin. Now, there was one teacher, nag-send doon sa group chat namin asking, Ma'am, di ba nag-end na po tayo ng June 24? What do we get if we are going to report from June 25 onwards? Do we get overtime pay? Mga ganon. Expect that there are teachers like this. No? Expect that there are teachers like this, that when you are going to give them additional workloads or tasks, require them to report. For instance, expect na talagang yung mga teachers na yan magko-complain or magtatanong anong mapapala ko if I'm going to report. And just to give you an idea, no? Kung hindi pa ninyo ito nagagawa when you ask your teachers to report, and it is really, their services are really needed, then you can request. Sa amin kasi sa La Union, there was a memorandum, division memorandum that went out that came out rather, na telling us school heads that if we have our teachers report after the last day of the school year, then we can request for service credits. Attach yung mga DTRs nila, yung mga tasks na ginawa nila, certified by the department heads, and other requirements. The memorandum that was sent out, yung mga ganun. So, that is how we will deal with teachers like this. So, you know what I did sa teacher na nag-post doon? I sent a personal message doon sa personal messenger niya. Sabi ko, can you please see me in the office, anak? Okay, so nung nagpunta sa office, sabi ko, hindi naman bawal pumunta sa office in order to ask for these things. There's no need for you to be telling that in the GC because parang pag-intindi ko, you are trying to encourage others to do the same. Yun yung ano ko. No? So at least naintindihan naman ng teacher. And of course, isang problem pa natin, challenge natin as school heads is teacher absenteeism. It's really hard to manage teachers who are always getting absent. Lagi, if she gets absent, there are always reasons. Sick leave, personal, mga ganyan. No? Alright. So, challenge yan sa teachers natin.
Ma'am Maribel, basahin ko lang po yung ibang comments natin kasi related po dito sa kaka-discuss lang ninyo na slides. Una po siguro yung sa filling up of vacancies, yung binabanggit niyo po kanina na medyo matagal yung filling up kasi
Yes,
nga po yung posting. Sabi po ni, hindi ko po alam kung Sir Lawrence po siguro to, the school should have their own succession planning to avoid delays po in filling up position. Meron po ba talagang succession planning or do you open po yung vacant items kahit na hindi pa po sila in service?
What do you mean, ma'am? Yung teacher 1?
Yes po, halimbawa po may na-vacant na position, ma'am. Is
Ma'am,
it only open to those who are in service already?
Of course, ma'am, for teacher 1, we have registry of qualified applicants. Yung mga nag-apply from, there is a certain time for application, sa processing ng application wherein ilalabas yung registry of qualified applicants before the school year starts. Doon tayo kumukuha, ma'am, ng applicants, qualified applicants, yung those who met the 70 total score going up, 70 up. Yun yung nakukuha na teacher 1, ma'am. Oo. So, yun lang po yung pwedeng i-hire. And what if yung number 1 doon sa rank is not available, you go down sa pababa doon sa rank po, ma'am. And then, pag naman kuha na lahat hanggang 70, then we can have below 70, but that should be approved and reviewed by the schools division superintendent. Now, for the master teacher, teacher 3, teacher 2, okay, we have basic requirements po dyan, ma'am. May mga basic needs na i-satisfy yung mga applicants. Kaya matagal talaga, ma'am. Kahit na mabilis yung principal mag-follow up, talagang hindi mo naman pwedeng i-fast track yung 10 days na posting.
Opo. Talagang 10 days talaga.
Hindi pwedeng may fast track. Ganun po, ma'am. So, ang hirap doon, ma'am, pagka master teacher 1, ang nakakuha is teacher 3. Okay, pagka approve na yung teacher 3, di mag-posting na naman yung teacher 3 ng 10 days. Ganun na naman sa teacher 2. Maganda lang, ma'am, kung yung master teacher, yung teacher 3 ay nakuha ng nasa teacher 1, kasi pwede naman po yun, kaagad mapabilis po yun, kasi kukuha ka na kaagad sa registry of qualified applicants. Ganun po yun, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Gets ko na. Meron pa pong isang comment dito. I think this is about this slide that we're showing now. Si Ma'am Jessica Manlangit Arias says, if only the battle cry of teachers are given attention by the higher authorities, then teachers can surely be effective. Their sole burden is the lesson planning and transferring of DLL. Instead, they will be given ready-made lesson plans for them to only study, prepare teacher materials, gadgets, etc. Then they can be productive.
Hindi pa naman nangyari kasi, ma'am, yung I do not know in other divisions, ma'am, or mga practice sila na they are provided with lesson plans, ready-made lesson plans. But for us in La Union, teachers really prepare for their DLL or their lesson plans po.
Yun po yata yung main na hinaing ng ating mga teachers. Meron din pong comment si Ma'am Noemi. Sabi niya po, nakaka-disrupt din yung overlapping activities given to teachers. They also interrupt the teaching and learning process.
That's true, ma'am. Especially if your school is a small one, wherein there are a lot of designations that should be given to teachers. Like in different learning areas, you should have one coordinator in each. And then you have the DRR coordinator, we have the WINS coordinator, and etc., etc. And you only have 8 teachers, for example. How many designations will each teacher receive? And this will, of course, intercede with the regular functions as teachers. Napakahirap talaga, ma'am. Pag maliit ang school, you will really see the difficulty of the teachers. And aside from that, ma'am, in every designation, there are reports required. There are reports required. So, yan din. Imbes na the teacher will be there preparing his lesson plan, his instructional materials, andun, gumagawa ng reports.
Talaga pong overworked.
Overwork po talaga ang teachers sa DepEd.
Totoo po. Okay, basahin ko na lang po. May comment po si Sir Carlito kanina doon sa shinare niyo po siguro kanina na situation to yung teacher na asking what she will get if she reports beyond the school year. Sabi niya, siguro po if there's a DO na from about service credit, siguro ibigay na natin sa kanila para alam nila na they will get something.
Yes.
Tapos may tanong po si Ma'am Robles, sabi niya po, how about naman po sa reclass ng master teacher and head teacher po siguro ng junior high school item? Hindi po ba pwedeng mag-participate ang teacher sa senior high school even if same school po?
Definitely not, ma'am. If you are in a senior high school and there are reclassifications for master teacher or other positions in the junior high school, that could not be po. You are supposed to be employed as senior high school teacher and you could not join ranking in the junior high school. Kahit may mga vacancies, hindi po pwede. Depende na lang po kung yung sa transfer siguro, if you apply for transfer from the senior high school, magta-transfer ka sa junior high school, pwede po. Pero kung yung makiki-join ka sa ranking for reclass, hindi po pwede. Kasi Ma'am Ria, ang hinanaing kasi ng mga senior high school up to now, there are no reclassifications of positions yet. Wala pa pong ERF or equivalent record forms. Hindi pa pwedeng ipa-reclass yung mga senior high school. Wala pa pong issuance to do that. Kaya swerte po, Ma'am Ria, during the first implementation of the senior high school, nagkaroon kasi ng napakadaming nakuha from the private, even from the private schools na kaagad master teachers sila. Master teacher 2, master teacher 1. Pero sa succeeding years na, wala na po. Wala na. Kahit na qualified, naubos na yung mga master teacher positions. Nag-end up sila na teacher 1, teacher 2. Mga ganun.
Yes, ma'am, yung mga items. I remember kasi nung inopen nila yung senior high school, ma'am, it was the transition also nung K-12. So yung mga na-displaced na college teachers also applied for the positions. So medyo yun yung kumain siguro ng mga ibang items natin.
Positions.
Yes po. I will continue the other, may mga comments pa po, pero later na po. Let's move on muna po to the other slides.
All right, students naman, our dilemmas on our students. Students' poor health, of course, problema pa rin natin if the students are suffering from poor health, no? Misconducts, okay, especially for us in the high school, problems on smoking, cheating in exams, or joining fraternities, meron din, no? Disrespect for teachers, yes. Large numbers of students in some classrooms or student absenteeism. This is very true, ma'am. Okay, large numbers of students in classrooms, we feel that actually, ma'am, mga 60, actually, even if the minimum or the maximum rather number of learners in a classroom supposed to be in the high school is 45, we cannot do anything but to extend yung bilang, especially if there are no available teachers to teach and there are no classrooms available. And then student absenteeism, this is really a problem. This is really a problem. Ang hirap i-handle ito, mga student absenteeism po. All right, parents. Our dilemmas on parents naman. Lack of parental involvement in school issues, weak follow-up of parents to their children's academic achievement, and the insistence of parents to help to meet the school principal for reasons that do not require such meeting. Okay, this is one of our dilemmas also on parents, wherein if we call them for meetings, ang hirap po silang papuntahin sa school for meetings. Pupunta na lang yan, especially if the child of that parent is shall we say, failing, sardo siya, no? Student at risk of dropping out, and then hindi siya nagpo-perform sa class. When you call for the parent to come for a conference, the parent will not come. That parent will only come towards the end of the school year, wherein magmamakaawa yan na ipapasa yung anak niya. Ganun lagi ang situation, Ma'am Ria, no? Okay. Although there are parents that are supportive naman, they are supportive in the sense that when you call for them for Cards Day or there are problems on their children, they would also come. But there are a lot also that do not come, and they do not involve themselves in the performance of their children. Okay, school building. Insufficient rooms to exercise school activities, deficiencies in the maintenance of the school building, internet service is not available in the school. Totoo po ito. May mga schools na wala pang internet, may mga schools na nagkukulang po ng building. And then, okay, eto na yung nabanggit natin kanina, selection, hiring, evaluation, and promotion process that is complex, intrusive, and questionable. Okay, may mga times may questionable. Yung tinatawag nating school leaders prerogatives or discretion wherein rank 1 does not get the item due to the appointing authorities prerogatives na sinasabi. Okay, appointing authority, who is the superintendent? Hindi po tayong mga principal ang nagde-decide dyan for the appointment of our teachers or the promotion of our teachers. There are cases kasi in our division wherein rank number 1 would not get the item. Why? Nagba-background check po sila. May mga reasons yung appointing authority why he will not be appointing rank number 1. And that we cannot question it. Prerogative yan ng appointing authority po.
Mayroong questions siguro na related dyan kasi kanina dinidiscuss din natin ito. Sabi po ni Sir Carlito, hindi ko po alam kung experience niya to, but he said, how about po sa scenario that you submitted your papers for promotion? After that, you're expecting that your papers will be approved. But sad to say, after a month of waiting, one of the in charge in processing your paper said na your paper was lost. Is it okay po that the applicant is mandated to submit again? Who is liable for this situation pag ganito daw po? May ma-advise kayo, ma'am.
Actually, hindi pa naman po nangyari sa division namin yan, Ma'am Rhea, no? So, if in case your paper was lost, so siguro si sir, tapos na ang ranking siguro, sir? Tapos na yung ranking pero nag-submit na ng papers for appointment, hoping na that would be approved already in a few days, pero to his dismay, nawala yung papel. Ganun po ba, ma'am? Yung sabi ni sir. So, siguro, ma'am, ang advice ko lang dyan kung sakaling nawala, and then, ano kaya ang advice nila kay sir? Mag-resubmit? Mag-reconstruct?
Opo, pinapasubmit daw po siya ulit.
I-submit na rin, ma'am, kasi wala tayong magagawa. Pero, that should reach the office of the superintendent. Bakit nawala? Para managot yung department na humawak ng papel ni sir. Kasi in our division talagang parang ginagawa rin yan ng mga kasama natin na school heads when there is a question regarding some processes na may mga ganyan, may mga antagal ma-process, o pwede namang mag-direct sa superintendent, and then siguro hindi ka naman mag-question dyan, kundi ask for assistance maybe, or ask some advice kung paano ang gagawin para ma-improve naman yung ano. Actually, hindi naman question ang tawag doon eh. Pwede namang, yes, mag-seek ng assistance siguro para hindi na gagawin nung nag-in-charge hindi na uulitin ng nag-in-charge sa papel. I-trace sana ni sir kung mas magandang kung naipa-receive na yung papel, may copy si sir, and then i-trace nila kung nasaan from office to office. Kasi yan, kung promotion from the division office, it goes to the regional office. Kung regular po na item yung finil upan ni sir, yung promotion niya, kunwari may nag-retire or nag-resign, so diretso yan ng regional office, and then from the regional office it goes to the civil service po kasi. So i-trace na ni sir kung saan talaga nawala, kasi makikita naman sa records po yan.
Yun nga po no? Parang merong irregularity talaga doon, ma'am. Anyways po, meron po tayong questions about yung parents kanina, yung mga issues natin with parents. sabi po, si Sir Carlito din nagtatanong, what's the best thing to do po if yung parents are not following the policy of the school? Is it okay to impose fines for parents who are not following school policy?
Actually, ma'am, pinagbawal na rin yung imposing fines. Pag collection kasi ang pinag-uusapan, medyo delikado pong bagay yan eh. Kaya we should not be imposing fines, my friends, kasi that could lead us to chaos sa leadership natin.
What if
Mahirap.
instead of money po, service to the school, like may assignment sila na mas mabigat for brigada, something like that. If kailangan na, if hindi pwedeng fine, pwede bang ganun, ma'am?
Siguro, Ma'am Ria, pwede na rin sa nadadala naman yan sa mga gandang usapan eh. Pwedeng pag-usapan yan. If it is an agreement of the body, kasi i-present mo yan in a PTA general meeting, ma'am eh. Okay? So, if it is approved, and then talagang may evidences na approved talaga yan ng body na mag-render sila ng services during brigada, for example, then pwede siguro, ma'am. Instead na imposing fines kasi
Yes po.
may issue diyan noon sa amin eh, hindi naman sa school namin pero in our district, in the former municipality where I was before I was transferred to my hometown, ma'am, may nangyari diyan na nag-complain yung parents sa fine. Dinala niya sa DepEd yung complaint.
Yes, ma'am. Pagka ganun, ano na eh, medyo mabigat na.
Ang bilis mag-888, Ma'am Ria. Kaya
Opo.
nakakatakot.
Totoo po. Nag-agree po si Sir Abner. Kailangan daw po sa General PTA meeting i-raise yung ganong issue. Pero meron pong tanong related din to parents. Ano daw po ba yung best thing we can do for parents who don't show up after inviting them several times to address their children's performance in school? Kasi daw po, we had several students who were performing poorly or not showing in school. A lot of times, their parents won't show up until the end. Yung sinasabi niyo po kanina, and then yun nga po magmamakaawa na ipasa. Unfair naman daw po to simply give the student concerned a few activities to cover missed activities. Ano pong advice niyo sa ganyan, ma'am?
Ma'am Ria, actually, ang ginagawa namin dito, and we do this in school, no? Ito yung protocol namin in our school wherein if we call for the parents several times and the parents will not show up, you will be going into home visitation already. Mag-home visitation na po, Ma'am Ria, kung ayaw ng parents. And then, when you go for home visitation, there are documents to be done. So, may agreement kayo, kuha kayo ng form sa guidance office. Ano ang agreement ninyo with the parent? Isali mo na yung parent, hindi lang yung bata po, no? Na sana when they will be, siguro, makukuha pa rin yan sa magandang usapan. Yung sabihan mo naman na pagka tinanong para sa kabutihan ng anak, ay pag tinawag rather, sana naman mag-show up naman sila, no? And then pag nag-home visitation, may mga documents kang kukunin. Mag-document ka, mag-picture ka, may pipirmahan kung ano ang agreement, ganon, para in the end, kung hindi talaga nagawa ng anak yung pinag-agreehan, then you have documents to show na the student will really deserve failure or drop out, halimbawa. Ganyan po yung ginagawa namin sa school. Wag lang po tayong mag-home visitation na yung kausapin mo lang and then wala namang documents. So, dapat may mga evidences po tayo, may mga MOVs po tayo so that we will all be safe. Yan ang safety nets kasi natin po eh. Para hindi tayo masisi in the end.
Yes po. Ma'am, nag-agree si Sir Abner, sabi niya yung home visitation. And then sabi niya practicing maximum tolerance daw po sa patients, sa parents din.
Mahirap kasi ano mo eh, pag yung sisigawan mo or alam mo, ibang-iba na ngayon, Ma'am Ria eh. Hindi na kagaya noon na pwede kang magsalita ng bagay na Pero ngayon, very sensitive din. Kung gaano ka-sensitive yung mga bata, ganun din yung mga parents ngayon, Ma'am Ria.
True po. Changing times, hindi katulad nung araw. Ma'am, we can proceed na po. Wala na pong mga questions related to the current.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, bureaucracy. Okay, excessive paperwork. Ito na yung sinasabi po natin kanina na aside from the DLL that the teacher does, for example, may 2 loads, 3 loads, 3 preparations yung kanyang hawak. So, paperwork yan. And then aside from the designations that I was telling a while back, ma'am, na may mga designations na nangangailangan din ng report. Okay. And then maintaining a balance between personal and professional life. Okay. Sa dami ng ginagawa natin, fellow school heads, sometimes nakakaligtaan na natin yung personal life natin, yung health natin, no? Sa dami ng ginagawa natin, let us not also set aside balancing our personal and professional life. Oo nga't naging successful ka, naging effective leader ka, pero in the end, nagsuffer naman yung health mo or personal life mo. Okay? Miscommunication or lack of communication between school leaders and classroom teachers. Ito, minsan hindi naintindihan ng mga teachers yung ating mga instructions. That's why we have to simplify things, make instructions simple so that magkaintindihan ang lahat. Youth's preparation and collaboration in the ever-changing global economy. Okay, and then the harsh realities from the outside. Ito na yung poverty, inadequate healthcare, and unemployment. So ito na yung mga outside na realities natin. And unsupportive community. Totoo po ito. The community should be supportive. So kailangan tayong mga school heads, we make it a point na talagang by all means, we have to employ all the strategies, all the techniques that we can employ in order to win the support of the community. Because if you will not be winning the support of the community, you cannot do much. Kasi yung budget po natin, yung mga manpower natin sa school, yung mga teachers, hindi natin kayang gawin lahat ang mga dapat gawin natin sa PPAs na ini-indicate natin sa SIP natin kung there are no supportive community members or external stakeholders. All right. Now, how to address these challenges? Palampasan lang po natin ito. Mga simple things on how to address these challenges that we have just discussed. Number 1 is goal time and deadline setting is important. Okay, so when we set our goal, we should also set the time frame. Kailan gagawin? Hanggang kailan ang deadline ko dito? So, what I do is, I'll just share what I do under this one is, before I go home in the afternoon, I already have a listing. May notepad kasi ako on top of my table wherein the following day nakalista na doon yung mga things that I should do. The things that I should do the following day. And I include also the things that I will be bringing home. Parang take home work ko yun po, ma'am. So, nakalagay na doon on top of my table so that whatever things I'll bring home, what I bring home, and then pag natapos ko, i-check ko yan pagdating ko the following day. I'll see to it that I'll check it, and then throughout the day, I will work on those things that I have placed there. And then, of course, hindi naman lahat ng oras para sa nagagawa natin lahat ang mga ginagawa natin sa school. Of course, other tasks will also come in. Observation, entertaining visitors, okay? Going out for walkthrough supervision, yung mga ganon. And then biglang may nag-away pa ng mga bata, andun ka sa guidance, tinignan mo yung finalo up mo kung anong nangyari, mga ganon. So there are times na all those things that I have listed there would not be done. So I'll do it again, ililista ko na naman sa following day. Yun yung technique ko naman sa akin na which I can share to some of you. Baka gusto nyong i-benchmark din para wala tayong makaligtaan, no? And even if I also teach those teachers or even the ADAS, yung ADAS natin, yung mga staffs natin who go to the division office to submit reports, may mga listahan yan. Mahilig ako sa mga ganyan, Ma'am Ria, para hindi makalimutan, no, yung lahat ng gagawin. And then teachers subordinate should be empowered through proper delegation. Roles are clearly provided. Okay. Of course, there is always delegation from us school heads. And let us be careful when we delegate tasks to our teachers. Careful po tayo pag nag-delegate po tayo, no? Na we should clarify things when you delegate him, for example, to be the OIC when you are on official business, i-identify natin kung ano yung roles niya doon. O, decision making sa'yo pa rin. Pero yung mga bagay na pwede naman i-delegate sa kanya, siya na yon. So, dapat before we leave and we delegate somebody to do the work, of course, it's always good to be identifying the roles that are delegated to the teachers or the subordinates para hindi magkagulo po. Leaders should prioritize work on tasks that maximize their unique value add. Okay, first things first po. First things first. So mag-prioritize po tayo para hindi manakaw yung ating oras. Next, ma'am. Leaders may have to practice and be comfortable saying no. When there are invitations, for example, and this is not so important and you can send somebody, you should be comfortable in saying no and send representative maybe. And then along with this, siguro yung mga teachers na laging nagpapaalam, Ma'am Ria, no? Yung teachers who are always asking permission to leave or what, sometimes it's also nice to be comfortable with them, no? Depending. Let's weigh things para kwan natin, patimbang natin kung alin ang papayagan, alin ang hindi. They should take an active role in mentoring, coaching, and developing others. Okay. So among master teachers who are here, this is a very important role that you do in your school. You mentor, you coach. And out of mentoring and coaching, assisting your co-teachers, no, sharing your expertise, you are able to develop others. Okay, you share your expertise, your knowledge, and then you guide them, no? You coach them how to do this and that, and in the end, you will be developing others. Guidance and feedback are vital. It's always nice to give feedback or guidance to our subordinates. Okay? Yung agarang feedback po, yung hindi, for example, you had an observation, kaagad, pag bakante na ng teacher, the teacher will come to you for feedbacking or post-conference para strike while the iron is hot. Ika nga. Yes, next, ma'am. Okay, collaboration and accountability be considered. Ito po yung sinasabi natin kanina, yung collaboration natin in the school and with the community. Okay, staff psychological and social needs should be met. So mag-provide din tayo ng mga activities for our teachers, siguro for our staff. May socialization din para may time din for relaxation. Leaders must know how to manage team effectiveness and try to eradicate factions. Yes, factions in the different schools is, I consider it normal naman kasi normal lang yan na kahit na how good you are, how effective you are as a school leader, meron din mga nangyayaring ganyan, may mga factions. Pero we can eradicate or we can control naman sometimes, no? And so we should emphasize team effectiveness, teamwork. Let us emphasize this. Through our LAC session, we can conduct siguro some activities on team building and lecture on how to work as a team. Mga ganun po. Next, ma'am. And then incorporate change. Okay, teachers, students, parents, and the community must be convinced that change is needed and desirable. Rational arguments are not enough. Okay, so in the beginning, I have mentioned that you as the school leader should be an agent of change. And you should do this with students, with teachers, with parents, with the community. And help them work with you to impact change. Leaders also need to be sensitive to employees' emotions and show empathy. Ito na po, let us be compassionate. Let us empathize with our teachers. Okay? Let us be very careful sa mga words that we give to our teachers. Andiyan na nga, umiiyak sa harapan mo, tapos nagdagdag ka pa. Okay. Adding injury. Ika nga, no? Okay. Next, ma'am. They must know how to read the situation by observing and gathering information from others. Okay. Read the situation by observing. So we should be observant, fellow school heads, no? And master teachers. We can gather information from others by means of observing. And then leaders must avoid gossiping. They must keep confidences. They must deliver on the promises they make. Okay, so let us be pag confidential yung information, let us keep it to ourselves. Now, leadership styles that may minimize these challenges, minimize, not totally eradicate. Servant leadership is a style. Ito, yung servant leadership natin, pwede nating employ yan to minimize the challenges. It's based on the desire to serve and give to your community. Because by putting the needs of others first, you empower people to perform at their best. Okay, servant leadership. Characteristics, valuing people. Servant leaders value people for who they are, not just what they give to the organization. So let's learn how to value our people. Let's give positive feedbacks whenever they do their best. They comply what you instruct them to do. And they do other things na hindi mo naman sinabi, pero it brought improvement to the teaching learning process. You give them commendations. Humility, servant leaders do not promote themselves. They put other first. They put other people first. Okay? So, yan sana yung ating slogan, no? Fellow school heads, put people first. Putting people first. Next, ma'am. Listening. We must know how to listen to our subordinates, our staffs. We should develop trust in them. Next, ma'am. And then we also have distributed or shared divided leadership, focuses on sharing responsibility rather than delegating tasks. Instead of someone in a position of authority passing work along to those under their management, teams with subject expertise work together to achieve a purpose. Okay, sharing responsibility. Imbes na i-delegate po natin, i-share natin yung responsibility sa rest of the group. And then, teamwork, partnerships, collaboration, and networking. Okay, let's do some networking because all these people we work with can really, we partner, I should say, can really help us a lot in the implementation of our programs, projects, and activities. Accountability stays with the leader. Individuals are shielded both from the risk and the rewards. So take note of this, friends. Accountability stays with the leader. We, as the leader, are always the ones accountable for whatever whatever things happen in our schools. We are always accountable. Na-recall pa natin yung ating aura sa RA 9155 natin, no? Yung aura meaning authority coupled with responsibility and accountability. So, accountable po tayo. Hindi natin pwedeng, hindi ko alam yan. Hindi ko ginawa yan. Hindi kasi sinabi ni ganito, no? Hindi pwede nating i-reason out yan because we are the leaders and we should be accountable for whatever happens in our schools.
Doc Maribel, meron na naman pong question
Yes,
related kanina, ma'am. So, balikan lang natin. Yun pong learn to say no na slide. Yung, I think, sabi ni Sir Carlito, paano po yung teachers na nag-ask ng permission to be out sa school dahil siya yung magbabantay muna sa kanyang tita na nasa ospital? Kasi sabi niya siya lang daw yung pwedeng gagawa nito. Is it okay po ba na yung class niya i-handle muna ng provincial paid teacher on that day?
In this case, ma'am, the provincial teacher can handle. Anyway, yung provincial teacher po is, may appointment naman yan, I guess. May appointment naman yan, I guess, ma'am.
Yes
So,
po,
pwedeng
sige.
i-handle ng provincial paid teacher. So we give consideration, we should be compassionate dun sa teacher na yun. Kung siya nga lang naman ang magbabantay, provided hindi laging ginagawa ng teacher naman siguro yan, pwede. Pwede ma'am, na-handle ng teacher. Just so na, kasi ang tendency ma'am is if the student is, the teacher is out and then walang magbabantay po, of course, if something happens to the students, it will be your accountability as the school head to answer whatever happens. Okay. In the case of a big school, kung may mga department heads, pwedeng i-handle yan po ng department head. Para hindi naman kawawa si provincial paid teacher. But
Okay,
never po,
Opo.
but
Go
never
ahead,
po
ma'am.
handle natin sa practice teachers po. Oo, because if something happens, kunwari may mga naglaban-laban dyan, may nasugat or what, kawawa si principal dyan, siya yung sasagot. Kasi hindi naman regular staff yung andun na nag-take over doon sa class po natin. Class nila.
Yes po. Sabi po ni Sir Carlito, once lang naman daw po, hindi naman
Okay yan si
habitual.
Carlito. We should be considerate naman sometimes. Baka wala lang naman talaga magbantay sa pitang niya. No?
Sabi po ni Sir Abner, ma'am, as school head, ganun ang ginagawa ko sa mga teachers. Mag-fill out muna ng Form 6 para safe ang teacher at school
Yes.
head.
Oo. Yes, ma'am. Talagang mag-fill up yan ng Form 6 para whatever happens, talagang officially naka-leave yung teacher. Yan yung mga safety nets natin, mga fellow school heads. Kahit na gaanong importante yung pupuntahan ng teacher, it's always wise na paper should be filled up. Yung mga legal na papeles natin, fill upan yan.
May isa, last na lang po na question siguro to for this slide. Sabi po ni Ma'am Maris, ask ko lang po, in my situation po, I'm designated as OIC sa school namin. Kare-retire lang daw po kasi ni school head kahapon. Wala pa pong kapalit. Kaso kanina lang po na-submit sa division office yung endorsement. Paninindigan ko na po ba yung designation ko sa Monday kahit na hindi pa po siya approved sa division?
Kanino kaya galing yung endorsement, ma'am?
Ay, hindi ko po alam. Hindi po niya nasabi dito.
Oo. Kasi when you
retired
are
na si school head.
designated,
Sa school head daw po galing. Sa school head mismo.
school head mismo na nag-retire, ma'am?
Opo, siguro, ma'am. Yun po sabi niya.
Wala. Iba kasi ang practice namin, ma'am, dito sa Division of La Union. Before you can assume as OIC, you will be given a special order by the superintendent. Ganun po. Pero kung sa OIC ship pa lang naman, while waiting, siguro few days lang po yun, 2 araw, ganun. Pero kung na-approve na by the superintendent, walang problema dun, ma'am. Pag ilang days lang, habang hinihintay, like for example, 2 days, 3 days, inassign ka as OIC, pwede rin yun siguro. Pero noted by siguro dapat, kasi nag-resign na yung...
Retired na daw po.
Ay, retired. Retired na. Kasi may kwan tayo dyan. May question po tayo pag retired na yung nag-endorse po. Dapat galing sa DepEd, the division office po yung endorsement. Elementary kaya si ma'am or high school? Kung elementary kasi, andyan si district supervisor na pwedeng mag-sign. Andun pa naman. Pero kung yung retired, parang hindi ko pa yata yan na-experience, ma'am eh.
Elementary daw po siya, ma'am.
PSDS, oo, nandito
Opo.
sabi niya, galing ang designation as OIC, pwede si PSDS muna mag-OIC habang dapat sabi niya, dito si Ma'am Mary Ann, alam ni Ma'am Mary Ann yan, from SDS dapat galing. Pero, yun, kung elementary, si PSDS pwedeng mag-OIC habang wala pang teacher in charge. Until Ma'am Ria na darating na yung special order niya galing sa division office. May danger kasi yan, ma'am eh. What if something happens doon sa duration ng mo? Hindi ka legal na nandoon sa position na yun. Cannot answer for whatever happens.
Ganun pala yun, ma'am. Dapat talaga merong papeles.
Yes, ma'am.
Opo.
Ganun naman Ito yung may comment si Ma'am Mary Ann, si PSDS sana. Yes, ma'am, dapat. Pag elementary. Kasi kaming mga high school, wala kaming PSDS, ma'am. Kaya yung sa elementary si ma'am, dapat si PSDS OIC. Sa high school kasi, pag nag-retire, nag-move out yung principal, yung sa high school sa amin, ang ginagawa namin, yung monitoring supervisor will take charge. Ganun po ang style namin dito sa high school.
Yes po, nag-agree po si Sir Abner. Sabi niya, hindi pwedeng si school head na retired ang magbigay ng OIC, lalo na retired na nga po siya.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay po. I think we can move on.
All right. So another leadership that we can employ in order to minimize the challenges. Transformational leadership, a leadership approach that causes change in individuals and social systems. Okay, causes change. Andiyan na naman tayo, impact change. Creates valuable and positive change in the followers with the end goal of developing followers into leaders. Okay, so we develop leaders. We develop leaders out of the followers that we have. That's transformational leadership. Kailangan na lang natin silang i-push, kailangan lang natin silang i-motivate. Okay, and of course, we have transactional leadership. We can employ that. A leadership style where leaders use rewards and punishments to achieve optimal job performance from their subordinates. Okay, rewards like, for example, certificates of recognition. Okay. Yung punishment, siguro, hindi naman yung mabigat na punishment. Actually, sometimes, yung yung punishment na halimbawa, yung sige, gawin mo ito kasi hindi mo nagawa yung dapat mong gawin. Ito naman yung gagawin mo. Mga ganun lang, minor. Pero yung rewards, ito yung in the form of certificates of recognitions because certificates of recognitions could be used for their promotions in the future. Okay, so those are the leadership styles that we can make use of so that we can minimize the challenges that we experience in the school. Ma'am Ria, hindi po ba pwedeng i-play yung video on
Hold on lang po.
Importante ang routine for them to know what's next.
Okay, so I hope ma-view natin yung video because this will sum up yung
John,
qualities of a
help
good
me.
leader. Hindi may play, ma'am. So, yan, ma'am. Yan. Alam, hindi.
Ma'am, hindi ko po mape-play yung video kasi wala sa akin yung link, ma'am, yung nandyan sa sa original file.
Okay, ma'am. So, siguro, sorry, we cannot play the video, but this video summarizes the 7 lessons that we can learn from the GIS. 7 lessons na pwede nating i-adapt to become effective leaders. Okay, first one is share a common goal. Okay, so you share your vision, mission, goals and objectives with your team. Okay, so that you will know where you will go. Alam ng lahat. Even the parents should know. The community should know kung saan patungo yung ating leadership, yung ating school. No? Increase visibility. Okay, increase visibility, and then humility. Empower others to lead, yung delegation kanina na sinasabi natin. Always recognize great work. Okay, yun yung sinabi natin kanina na you should give praises, you should recognize your teachers whenever they perform the task that you are giving them. And then number 6, offer support in challenging times. We should be compassionate to our teachers. We support our teachers in their plans. We, even the students, we support the students. And then number 7, and the last one is, we have to stay committed to core values and purpose. So the commitment that we are supposed to give to the task that we school heads should have. Yes, ma'am. And I think that is the last slide. I think that is the last slide, ma'am. And to end, friends, may I give you the lines from John Maxwell? Why you lead and the way you lead are important. They define you, your leadership, and ultimately your contribution. Thank you so much and good afternoon once again.
Thank you, Doc Maribel. As usual po, pagka-experience school head like Doc Maribel ang nagsasalita, marami tayong mga words of wisdom. From experience din, ang dami po nating natutunan kay Doc Maribel this afternoon. Ma'am, meron pong mga related question po dun sa mga issues natin kanina. Basahin ko po yung tungkol dun sa pag-OOIC or pag-leave siguro. Ito, what if emergency daw po, sabi ni Sir Carlito, do we have to let them fill up Form 6 first before mag-out si teacher? Ano po yung usual practice?
We have to weigh situation siguro kung emergency na talagang hindi na for example, na-atake na yung teacher, ibang usapan naman na yung Maria. No? Sick leave naman na yun, and sick leave could be filed at least kahit 3 days. Kahit 3 days or when the personnel will come back after the leave. Pag sick leave, okay naman.
Sabi po ni Ma'am Mary Ann Wezan, about giving rewards and recognition to performing teachers is one of the pillars of PRMT.
We need to give rewards really to our teachers.
Meron po bang budget ang school for, like, for example, tokens or rewards na hindi po certificates? Ina-allow po ba to ng school?
Actually, ma'am, sa DepEd, ang allowed lang sa amin is certificates of recognition. Now, when we wish to give items, like small items for tokens, then we can use other sources, like canteen funds. Doon naman kasi, ma'am, sa canteen funds, as per DepEd order on canteen management, meron tayong, I think 20% on the proceeds of the canteen will be spent for teacher student development funds. So pwede tayong kumuha doon for such, ma'am.
Pwede palang i-allocate it. How about sa PTA, ma'am? Pwede. Pwede rin po ba?
Basta, ma'am, napapag-usapan lang. Napapag-usapan lang yan. It will always be nag-agree naman sila mga ganyang bagay. Kung nakuha mo yung sympathy talaga ng mga PTA, Ma'am Ria, they will not really say no. They will always say yes. Nag-agree sila pag mga ganung bagay. Especially during Teachers Day, ma'am. Kasi ang Teachers Day, wala naman tayo talagang budget for that. So sometimes yung budget ng SSG, may pakonting diary, isang maliit na diary notebook yan, galing sa SSG, mga ganyan. May mga mug from the PTA, mga ganyan, ma'am. Napag-uusapan yan, ma'am.
Yes po. And it will mean a lot also to the teachers to encourage them to work harder,
yes,
and to be inspired, di ba, ma'am? Yung maliliit na bagay na ganyan from our from our learners and from our parents. Meron pa po ba tayong question? Ay, sige po. Go ahead.
Ang pinaka-importante naman dyan, Ma'am Ria, is the certificate that they can make use of dun sa ranking. Eh.
Yes po. For promotion. Pwede po. Meron pa po ba tayong questions for Doc Maribel? Anyway po, yung mga questions natin kanina na-incorporate na natin sa discussion kasi para as our speaker touches on the topic, marerespondan po niya agad. Meron pa po ba tayong ibang questions that we would like to ask our speaker for this afternoon?
May magandang sinabi dito si Ma'am Mary Ann Buesan, Ma'am Ria.
Yes po.
Even tapping, yung nandyan po, ma'am. Even
yes,
tapping the shoulder, wala na.
of the teacher and saying thank you and congrats for a job well done will mean a lot for them.
Yes, ma'am. So, just sharing, kahapon we were validated sa Division Brigada Eskwela, Best Brigada Eskwela Implementer, na kami yung parang nag-i-emerge, though it is not yet final, na kami yung pinakamataas ang points sa division. Isang simpleng message lang sa GC, thank you everyone, thank you for the efforts you have extended, mga ganun-ganon, no? So, mga ganung bagay nakakatulong din to boost their moral and their participation sa lahat ng activities para mag-support sila fully sa lahat ng programs natin.
Tama po. Yung to show teachers that you appreciate and then you recognize also their hard work means a lot po sa kanila.
Yes, ma'am.
Ayan pa po ba? Ako si Ma'am Daisy po, binibigyan daw po ng pa-food and gifts ni school head. Sana all, Ma'am Daisy.
Oo, pwede rin, Ma'am Daisy. Kahapon nga, binibiro ako ng mga teachers ko, ma'am, pa-ice cream. Oo, later, sabi ko naman. Later, don't worry, parating ang December.
Sa bagay, lahat naman po may bonus, so pwedeng magpatak-patak para makapag-ice cream.
Oo, ma'am. Tama yan, ma'am.
Meron pa po ba tayong questions kay Doc Maribel? Yung presentation po niya, she already shared with us po and we will post it later in the FB group page. Final words po, Doc Maribel. Ay, sorry po. May pahabol po na question. Si Ma'am Jessica Manlangit. Medyo self-reflection tong tanong. Is our way of leading always a reflection also of our inner self?
Is our way of leading, sabi ni ma'am?
Is our way
Our
of
way
leading
always a reflection of our
Yes
inner
po.
self? Pwede po. What we are is reflected on the way, on the way how we lead people, how we lead people. Lumalabas yan yung inner self natin. Lahat ng mga magagandang values na when you become a school leader, talagang lumalabas yan. Lumalabas. Kung noon hindi ka pa principal, you were very strict, you were very very strict ka, kunting bagay lang nagagalit or what. When you become a school leader, especially if you are seasoned, Ma'am Ria, if you are seasoned, tumatagal ka sa service, nadidecrease yung mo, hindi
kasungitan.
Hindi ka na marunong magalit eh. Ganun yun.
Tama po yan. Mas nagiging mabait na.
Oo, ma'am. Kaya
Wala
nung
na.
bumalik ako sa school na dating, handle ko kasi dati yung school na binalikan ko, ma'am. Sabi ko nung bumalik ako, yung Ma'am Reyes na dati, nung umalis ako ng 2015, hindi na ngayon. Ibang-iba na ngayon.
Mas seasoned na. Oo nga po Alam ko dati yung assignment yung school na binalikan niyo, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige po. Final words, Doc Maribel, for our teachers, something to inspire them po.
Okay. So, this is my final words to you, my friends. One of the greatest challenges of school leadership is shouldering the responsibility it confers. Yung responsibility natin. Part of that responsibility is the responsibility to deal with those aspects of yourself that can help you become an effective leader. This is not easy, my friends, but the rewards are really great. Good afternoon and great afternoon, I should say. Great afternoon and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Doc Maribel. Dami po nating takeaways for this afternoon. I'm sure po maraming natutunan na-inspire pa yung ating mga master teachers and ating mga school heads from your sharing. Thank you very much po.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po. Dear teachers, a few reminders lang po before we end this afternoon's session. Unang-una po, of course, yung ating attendance link. Nasa FB group page po yun. Yung ating pong presentation this afternoon ni Doc Maribel, i-share po natin sa ating FB group page later. And yung ating assessment tool po is also posted on our FB group page. Tomorrow po, whole day session po tayo. we'll start at 8:30 for session 1 and 1:30 naman po for our afternoon session. So hold lang po yung mga questions na hindi natin nasagot for this afternoon. Baka meron pa po kayong mga tanong. Tomorrow po, whole day po tayo. May session po tayo ng morning, may session po tayo ng afternoon. Baka related din po yan sa mga talks natin. For the first session, we learned about the challenges that we share as leaders in our own schools. No? Maaari pong school head tayo, master teachers tayo, or we aspire to become leaders in our school. So ito po yung mga challenges and issues that we have to deal with. In the succeeding sessions naman po, we will learn how to address these challenges. So maganda po na nauna yung talk ni Doc Maribel kasi parang na-remember natin, na-recall natin, ito pala yung mga challenges natin. So for the following sessions, we'll try to look at how we can address these sessions. So beginning po with our session tomorrow morning. Dear teachers, thank you for participating very actively in our first session. Time to go po to our assessment number 1 assessment task. And then po, that is part of our asynchronous session. Maraming salamat po. Good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Friday.